It's the final word, Pakistan Daily, with me, Adam Collins, and yes, him, Bharat Sundaresan, co-hosting the show in Jeff Lemon's absence. Jeff's a bit poorly after tea last night. He's rushed home. Fair enough too. You're sharing a room with him. You know all about that. Bharat, as you know, the custom on this program is for the person not hosting, so you, to sum up the day in 30 helter-skelter seconds. Have a go at it.
Well, Karachi is the Khawaja land. He was on top yet again. Couldn't get to the double hundred, but that's all right. Nathan Lyon still loves to play the hook shot and plays it better than most Australian tailenders I've seen. Alex Carey is here to stay. He was the Australian Test cricket keeper that we all thought he would be. Beautiful knock, but in the end, falling to Babar Azam. As embarrassing as falling into the pool.
Very nice. That might have come under the 30-second clock on YouTube as well. Beautifully bowled. Right, so the day started with Nathan Lyon and Usman Khawaja at 3 for 251. And it was Nathan Lyon who got the party started, making 38, striking 5 boundaries, attacking the new ball, the second new ball, in the same way that Khawaja and Warner did against the first new ball the previous day. It served as a pretty good strategy. Have a go while the ball's hard.
Yeah, and I think it was a very important half an hour where Australia, losing Steve Smith, they could have thought maybe they'd lost that advantage, lost their momentum. But for Nathan Lyon to come out there and not just occupy the crease, but to score those quick 30 runs off the new ball when it's easiest to score runs was crucial, and it really set the day up for them.
Yeah, it did, and it meant that subsequently they were able to control the tempo and absorb pressure the way they did the previous day. I suppose if you wanted to be hypercritical, Khawaja only adding 33 in 40 overs today meant that they didn't really have that lift-off after Lyon was dismissed for 38. Perilously close again to that Test half-century that we've been egging him onto for seemingly 5 years now. He's got close a few times, and this is his equal third highest Test score. Then it was Travis Head, who looked $1 million for 23, 5 boundaries, but he was out after lunch, as was Khawaja for 160. Both fell to Sajid Khan. Bowled a marathon spell all the way through the middle session, deep into the final session as well. He got one to spin past the outside edge of Khawaja. No mean feat given how well he was playing at the time.
Nah, I mean, seriously, he redeemed himself. He's had a struggle so far in this series. The Australians have gone after him. He came back today. Again, he started a little gingerly, but changed his approach. His strength is bowling slow through the air, trying to get some purchase of the pitch. Once he realized there wasn't much happening off the pitch, I think he started bowling a little flatter, like you should on these pitches. Yeah. And it was the one that turned past Khawaja that eventually got him out. The next delivery didn't turn as much, but Khawaja was playing for the turn, and even a well-set batsman as Khawaja, fell for it, and he got that wicket, and he deserved it. Travis said, look, it's a big series for him, big year for him, man of the series or player of the series in the Ashes, but this is his big test. I still think he has a long way to go to prove himself against spin, but we know he has the game. He did it in the UAE, and he's looking good. I think he'll just take that one breakthrough innings and he'll be on his way as well. Yeah,
it's just that away from home disparity in terms of his batting average, which isn't helped by being out for 23 today. Just going back to Khawaja, the extraordinary response he received from the Karachi crowd here, Bharat. You were on the balcony at the time when that took place, and they are welcoming him like he's one of their own, which to an extent he is.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is for me a throwback to my days in India covering cricket or just watching cricket, the crowd, the noise, and when Usman Khawaja walked off, of course, I mean, people in this part of the world are very appreciative of opposition players reaching milestones or getting to landmarks, but the fact that they roared in unison, it was a roar. They were just screaming Khawaja, Khawaja as he walked off, and for a few minutes after he walked off, as he raised his bat, was one of the greatest moments I've covered in cricket. To come all this way, he said Karachi, the land of the Khawajas. He's spoken about how his family, was brought up not too far from here.
Yeah.
And as we've learned today, it's the cricketing belt of Karachi. And that's the backstory. And after the innings he played, 200 or not, that reception would have actually made up for him maybe not getting his Test best score. But I think his most memorable Test innings for sure.
Yeah, speaking of Test best, we touched on Alex Carey at the start, falling for 93 to Babar Azam, very late in the day, penultimate over of the day. Gave himself every opportunity to get to 3 figures because Cummins didn't declare. Now, we all thought Cummins would go with the convention, which is a declaration late on evening 2 when you get into this situation, and 2 bites of the cherry with the new ball. Cummins has gone the other way, which gave Carey that opportunity, but first and foremost, strategically, why do you think it is that first innings runs are being held in such high esteem here? Is the track going to break up to such an extent that they couldn't have had a go this afternoon?
Yeah, and I don't think it's just the runs in the first innings, caller. It's also about how little you want the opposition to get the most of the batting condition. It is still a really good pitch to bat on. Just seeing how Stark has been able to just survive, hang in there without any trouble at all. The way Nathan Lyon batted earlier in the day, and how easy it is to score off the new ball. So it's also about making the most of the batting condition, and that's how you play test cricket in the subcontinent. You have to be prepared to play the long game. The short term ideas of maybe put them in for 7 overs might work in Australia and England and other places, but on pitches like this you bat and bat and bat, and then once you think that there are enough opportunities out there to create, or you can create wicket taking opportunities like Alex Carey said, then you put the opposition in.
So Alex Carey out for 93, swept well from the off, his lap sweep, his reverse sweep. He looked to take the initiative and move the game forward. It was obviously hard going against the soft ball as it was yesterday, but it's that intent that he showed. Stark found it a fraction trickier. I think his strike rate's about 25 or something like that. Very rare you'd see Mitchell Stark find it so hard to find the rope. When they took the third new ball, he got a couple away, but for the most part he was almost the sheet anchor when Carey was trying to get the board ticking over. But a significant moment in his fledgling career. It's his 7th test match. He's passed 50 only once before today, and that was in Adelaide Oval back in December. So just when people were starting to ask the question, does this guy have the run scoring capacity at the top level to demand a spot in the Test 11, he albeit favourable conditions, but you've got to make the runs, and he did today.
Yeah, and with 7 tests in the subcontinent in the next 12 months to come for Australia, it's a very crucial knock, and you need someone like Alex Carey at 6 or 7 who can sweep confidently against spin and take the attack to them. Not play a Rishabh Pant innings. He's just made the fastest 50 by an Indian I just saw, but even the way he batted today kept the scoreboard moving, and played to Australia's plan. He really enabled them to bat deep into day 2 and get to 500. So I think he has proven himself today. There were question marks, a couple of dismissals during the Ashes, like we were just saying, on a slightly unfair, opening the batting at Brisbane when they needed a handful of runs, and he put his hand up because David Warner couldn't walk out. And of course that farcical declaration at the SCG, that might have affected his average, but 100 or not, I think he proved today that he belongs at this level, and even if he might struggle walking past swimming pools in Karachi, the pitch gave him no issues, and I thought the pacing of his innings was what was most impressive. He couldn't get over the line in terms of getting 100, but no, I thought it was a perfect test innings, and should augur well for him also going forward in terms of confidence.
So 8 for 505 at the close. There have been 22 wickets in 21 sessions so far in this series, which looks bad, but the overhead aerial shots from the drone camera that TV was showing us on our screen, there is that sort of that cake-looking thing going on there with different bite-sized pieces of it. The cracks just haven't opened up yet, so they should in the fullness of time. Before we wrap up the show, Bharat, the Final Word Hall of Fame, the most final word moment of our day here at the National Stadium. I think Babar Azam was integral to a couple of them. First of all, getting that wicket against the flow of play completely. Carey was gutted when he got out, as it was to part-time off-spin, but something took your eye earlier as well.
Very much so, Carlo. You hear the term, captain kicking the bowler up his backside very often, but today I actually saw it happen. Hassan Ali, full of energy, appealed for a caught behind. Rizwan played along behind the stumps and then gave him a mock hug as if he was celebrating a wicket. And Hassan Ali, I think, got encouraged and kept appealing. And then Babar Azam actually walked up to him and just gave him a little kick up the backside to say, go back and bowl. Don't get in my head. I'm not wasting another review because you were just getting excited.
And on the other side of that, when Hassan Ali was appealing, Mohammad Rizwan went up to him and gave him a big cuddle after getting the kick up the bum, and I thought that was absolutely perfect. All right, Bharat, a short show's a good show today. Thank you for stepping in for Jeff. We'll be back with the Final Word Daily on day 3. Let's hope that pitch breaks up. If you like what we're doing, Final Word Patreon account, so patreon.com/The Final Word, and all our old episodes at finalwordcricket.com. Good night from Karachi. See you tomorrow.